Kitten. Ha! What's up, guys? Today is Friday. Fridays are my check-in days with my coach, and somebody just posted on Instagram asking me if I would do, what did she say? Natalie Nielsen, she said, "Hi, you talk a lot about how different your coach is treating you, so I was wondering if you would do like a weekly or bi-weekly video discussing your new weight, what's working, and how you're feeling." And I definitely want to start doing that because I am going through a cutting season right now of dieting. I've been dieting for about 5 weeks. If you're new to my channel, then maybe you don't know this, but so I competed in June of this past year, 2015. Before that, I was on a 22-week prep. I reverse dieted for about 6 or 7 weeks after my show, so till like the middle of August. And then from basically the beginning of September until the beginning of December, I was tracking through all of September, kind of, but then I took all of October, November, and the first week of December off from tracking. I didn't track at all. I gained like 10 or 15 pounds. It is what it is. And so right now I am dieting. Now I'm not sure still exactly what I'm dieting for. I know for right now I'm just dieting to get off the excess weight that I have gained, because I competed at like 131 and I am now 158. I've been, in the last 5 weeks, I've been as low as 156. I started at 160, but the first like 3 to 4 weeks of my diet was not really me trying to cut. It was my coaches trying to see like the threshold of my calories and seeing how high they could keep my calories and keep me still losing weight. So that's what was going on there and why I haven't lost a ton of weight yet. Now in the past, I've always used a flexible dieting approach to any weight loss. I've been utilizing flexible dieting and tracking macros since about April 2013. So for quite a while, almost 3 years now. And right now I'm still tracking macros, but I am sticking to basically all clean foods, keeping sodium a little bit lower, not doing a lot of processed foods. So it's somewhere in between like typical bro dieting, bodybuilder type dieting of like a meal plan versus flexible dieting. So like I'm not fitting like Oreos into my macros or ice cream or really any sugar other than fruit maybe. That's just the way that my coaches want it to be. And I'll be honest, I was a little bit nervous to step away from full-on flexible dieting where I can eat anything I want as long as it fits my macros, to move into like clean type eating, which is what I'm doing now. I mean, in the world of like flexible dieters, most people go from clean eating, meal plan type situation to flexible dieting, so it felt like I was taking a step backwards, but it was totally the right decision for me. And when it comes to diet and eating, honestly, I don't think there's one perfect way to diet. I think that it's just gonna have to be based off of what makes you feel good, what's maintainable for me, for you, what you find the best results with. Now, flexible dieting, I've gotten pretty lean with flexible dieting, but not as lean as I would want to, and I have a feeling that my body's going to respond better to keeping my food choices clean. Now that's not the case for everybody. I've seen tons of girls and guys both get super shredded on flexible dieting, like eating weird stuff and stuff like that, but for me personally, and for I think maybe a lot of people, they will have a better result if they keep their food choices clean. Also, if you guys have been following me through like November, December, I was having a lot of freaking stomach issues all through November and most of December. And it sucked. Like I was nauseous all the time, my stomach hurt, I just didn't feel good, I felt like crap all the time, and I had a bunch of tests run. My doctor thought I was this, that, and the other, and all my lab results came back perfect, all my test results came back clean, my ultrasounds, everything that I had done, nothing was wrong with me. But that was right when I started working with my coaches, which Kerry and Alicia is their name. They're a couple at my gym that I met through the tanning company that I work with. And I'm actually going to leave their information in my description box below because they are prep coaches and I am not a prep coach. And I get a lot of people requesting my services for if they're doing like a bikini show or whatever. I don't do that, guys. I know how to technically, but it's not my specialty, and I would rather send you somewhere who is going to get you like diced up perfectly and in a healthy way, and that's what my coaches can do. So anyway, moving along. And also I want to say that when it comes to coaches, like, be particular about who you're working with. I've worked with a few coaches now, and I've had decent experiences and I've had bad experiences, but the kind of coach that Alicia and Kerry are, the kind of coach that I aspire to be, which is just like patient, understanding, explains the science behind what they're asking you to do, like responds to my texts like really quickly when I ask them questions. They don't get frustrated with me, they don't make me feel bad if I mess up. Like if you're working with a coach right now who doesn't respond to you, only responds to you once a week in your check-ins, doesn't answer your questions, doesn't care about like the mental and emotional side of this, like, dude, get a better coach. I had a coach who told me that that was not his job to take care of my emotions, and I was like, okay, I understand why you say that, but why are you being so rude? So yeah, little side note, get a coach that treats you well and doesn't have you on something unhealthy, which is another thing that Alicia and Kerry are like super like adamant about, is making sure that I'm healthy and that my hormones are healthy, my body is healthy, and we're not doing extreme things. So side note. So I started really cleaning up my diet and having pretty much just clean foods. I think I want to say like the second week of December, and holy moly, it's been so transformative to my body, to my health. Like, I've not been sick in ages. Like, my body was just not happy with whatever I was doing with it before, and I couldn't even narrow it down to one thing. Like, it wasn't just dairy, it wasn't just gluten, it wasn't just like high fat stuff, it wasn't wheat, like it was not a particular thing, because I ran, like, you know, I would take it out of my diet for a week and I would try this and I would try that, and just to see if my body was responding poorly to anything, and there was nothing, like not artificial sweeteners, there was not really any particular thing that was causing me to be sick. I just felt like crap, and a lot of it could have been that for November and December when I wasn't tracking macros, or October, whatever, the time that I wasn't tracking macros, I was eating out a lot more, and I was eating processed foods and high sodium, and my body, I think, was just like, Lynette, stop. Eat a vegetable. And I feel a million times better. I'm so happy with the way that I'm dieting right now. It feels good, and it feels like this is what I believe in. Like, I believe in health. I don't just believe in the type of food that gets you lean. Like, I don't believe in just eating to meet physique goals, but actually eating certain things because they're good for you. I believe in eating vegetables, and I feel like with flexible dieting, I would never eat vegetables because I would just save the carbs for something delicious. And so I would, you know, I think flexible dieting over a long period of time made me like malnourished because I wasn't eating enough of the right things. Like, I tried to keep my diet clean, but like, and I didn't have a lot of sugar most of the time, but I still was just eating like processed diet foods. I feel like my body was just like, can you please put something natural in us? So I did, and I feel a lot better. And for the first like 3 or 4 weeks that I was working with Kerry and Alicia, I was on like around 200 and I want to say between 220 and 250 carbs. Fats were pretty high, like I think 60 or 70 grams. Protein was at least 150 grams. I was basically eating like 2,300 calories a day, and it was awesome. And honestly, when I first started, I couldn't even get up that high, but then I got up, and then just in the last week, we decided to start carb cycling, and so I was doing, on my low carb days, around 125 grams of carbs, around, I want to say 80 grams of fat, and around like 150, 160 protein, something like that. It was around 1,900 calories, I know that much. And on my high carb days, I was doing like 300 grams of carbs, maybe 50 grams of fat. I don't know, because my meals were broken up. Like, each meal they'd say, okay, for meal 1 have this macro split, for meals 2, 3, 4, and 5 have this macro split. So like, I wasn't really paying attention to where my macros ended up at the end of the day, because each meal, like, I just made each meal fit the macros they're supposed to fit, if that makes sense. So that was this past week, and I usually respond really well to carb cycling, and I don't know if it was because I wasn't like as dedicated this past week. I like didn't measure everything, and like might have had an extra bite or two of something, but I only lost like 0.6 pounds this week, maybe closer to like a pound, I forget, which kind of sucks, but you really can't be mad at your result if it's literally exactly what you earned. Like, if you give 80% during the week, you're gonna have like a crap result. Like, it doesn't even correlate. Like, you can't even give 80% and get 80% result. You give 80% effort and you get like 30% result. It sucks. If you want 100% result, you have to give like a bajillion% effort. That's just how it works. It's not fair. It doesn't make sense. But if you want what you want, you just gotta work hard as hell for it. Pardon my language. So the plan this year, for the next, I think it's 8 weeks until the Arnold. The Arnold is like the Arnold Sports Festival in Columbus, Ohio. It happens the first weekend in March. My goal is to really just work on cutting down until then and see where I am then. It's very likely that by then I will be around a weight that I'm comfortable at, which for me, so my stage weight was like 131. I was not that lean for stage, but I definitely feel comfortable between like 135, 138 as like a everyday look. For me, that's gonna put me at around like, I think 18 or 19% body fat, which is lean-ish, but it's not unhealthy lean for most girls, and I find that my body is okay there. I would even take 20% body fat. I'm at 24 24-25% right now, so it's just not where I'm comfortable. So yes, the Arnold is like the first benchmark, and then at that point we're gonna see where my calories are, how I'm feeling, where my body's at, and at that point is kind of when I'm gonna decide if I'm for sure going to compete this year. Now I would love to do the show that I did last year, which is like the first week in June. My coaches are both doing that show. Matt, my husband, wants to do that show, so it would just be super fun to be doing that show with them. But ultimately what matters to me is making sure that I'm not gonna have to go do extreme things again to get on stage, and just to make sure like that my heart is really in, that's what I want to do. You know, I feel like a lot of times we can get so caught up in competing as like fit people that we feel like we have to compete, or we feel like, I don't know, there's just like this weird stigma that if you're a fit person that you should be competing. And I loved competing, I really, really did. And I totally want to get on stage again this year. But it's so time consuming, and it consumes your brain and your heart and your time and your actions. It consumes everything, and it takes so much out of you, which is awesome. It's such an awesome experience. If that's something that you crave, then you should just do it because it's great. But I just want to make sure that it's the right thing for me at the right time, and that I don't feel like God's leading me to do something different with my time, or God's leading me to do, I don't know. As of right now, I would say I'm like 75% sure I'm gonna compete. Some days it dips down to like 60% sure, but yeah, we'll see. I don't have to make any decisions right now. The Arnold still puts me like, I think 12 weeks out from that show, which is plenty of time to like kind of reboot and then like cut down more. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. I guess I want to wrap up this video and say that when it comes to dieting, don't feel like you have to do what everybody else is doing. Don't feel like you have to do flexible dieting. Don't feel like you have to do clean eating or a meal plan. You do what works for you. If you don't even want to track macros, then don't. Like, you can be a healthy person and a fit person and not track macros. Like, I would say it's the most ideal way to get to your goal and the most like direct path there, but it's not necessary. So yeah, that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, you should like the video, thumbs it up, and you should subscribe to my channel. Also, you should add me on Snapchat. You should add me on Twitter. I only have like 875 Twitter followers or something like that. That hurts my heart. Like, y'all don't want to hear what I have to say all day long. I'm just pontificating all day long on Twitter. And I don't even have an audience to receive it. Be my audience. But yeah, alright, let's wrap this video up. See ya. Bye.